So, hey everyone, this is Vidhi Podar, and today I'll guide you step by step, breaking down every concept in the simplest way possible. By the end, you'll be solving problems with confidence. So, sit and relax, and let's master the quadratic equations together. Okay, so let's start with our problems. So, the first statement includes problems based on numbers. Okay, so the very first type in this type of problem is find the consecutive integer. Consecutive means एक के बाद एक, one after the other. So consecutive keyword matlab we have taken a variable plus 0, then a variable plus 1, that is after 1. So x plus 2 and so on till n numbers. So consecutive मतलब क्या होता है कि हमारा हर एक टर्म जो है वो डिफर करेगा बाय 1. सो वेन एवर द क्वेश्चन यूजेस द टर्म कंसिक्यूटिव, उसका मतलब साफ है कि हमें x से शुरू करना है और उसको एक एक करके इंक्रीमेंट करते जाना है. ओके, so the consecutive integer is nothing but x, x plus 1, x plus 2, x plus 3 and so on. Okay, so let's see a question regarding this topic. Okay, so now the product of two consecutive number is 56. Find the integers. Okay, so पहले हमें क्वेश्चन में बोला है कि प्रोडक्ट मतलब मल्टीप्लीकेशन. ओके, सो प्रोडक्ट मतलब मल्टीप्लीकेशन ऑफ टू कंसिक्यूटिव इंटीजर्स. हमें कितने इंटीजर्स लेने हैं? टू कंसिक्यूटिव इंटीजर्स लेने हैं. ठीक है, तो टू कंसिक्यूटिव इंटीजर्स से हमें तुरंत क्लिक करना चाहिए कि हमारा पहला इंटीजर x हो जाएगा एंड दूसरा इंटीजर x plus 1 हो जाएगा. ओके, एंड उसका प्रोडक्ट इज 56. फाइंड द इंटीजर्स. वी नीड टू फाइंड दीज वैल्यूज. ओके, सो हम इसे कैसे सॉल्व करेंगे? सो the approach to this question is, so first of all, the product of two consecutive integers. So these are the two consecutive integers. So we'll take the product of them. That is x into x plus 1 is equal to, we'll take the value as 56. Okay. So now after multiplying this, we get it as x square plus x is equal to 56. Okay. Now इस 56 को, क्योंकि हमें इसे किस फॉर्म में लिखना है? क्योंकि हमें इसे क्वाड्रेटिक फॉर्म में लिखना है, तो क्वाड्रेटिक का फॉर्म है ax स्क्वायर प्लस bx प्लस c इज इक्वल टू 0. सो राइट हैंड साइड हमारा हमेशा 0 होना चाहिए एंड सारे वैल्यूज टुवर्ड्स द लेफ्ट हैंड साइड हमें शिफ्ट करना पड़ेगा. ओके, सो नाउ so we get it as x square plus x minus 56 is equal to 0. Okay. Now, how will you solve this further? So अब हमें 56 को two parts में divide करना है. Okay, so 56 should be divided into two parts in order to do middle term splitting. So हमें 1 लाना है. So 1 कैसे आएगा? So we can take it as 2 and then 28. Okay, so इसे subtract करने के बाद या add करने के बाद हमें 1 नहीं मिलेगा. So we'll go for 3. So in 3 also we won't get the same thing. We'll go for 4 and then 14. This is again not possible. So again we'll go for 5. Not possible. 6. Not possible. 7. So 7 and 8. अगर हम 7 and 8 को minus करेंगे तो हमारा value 1 आ जाएगा. Okay. So in that case we'll take it as x square. And क्योंकि यहाँ positive sign है, so इन दोनों में से जो भी बड़ा है, क्योंकि 8 बड़ा है, so it gets the positive sign here. 8x minus 7x minus 56 is equal to 0. Okay. So we get it as x plus 8 and then minus 7 x plus 8 is equal to 0. We get it as x minus 7 and then x plus 8 is equal to 0. So इसे solve करने के बाद get it as x is equal to, just a minute. So we get the value as x is equal to 7 and x is equal to minus 8. Okay. So this becomes the final value. In order to solve this question, you need to take two cases. First case is basically when my x becomes equal to 7. क्योंकि हमें दो consecutive integers निकालना है, the first value is x and the other value is x plus 1. So x becomes equal to 7 and x plus 1 becomes equal to 7 plus 1, which becomes equal to 8. So here for the first case your answer is 7 and 8. Okay. अब हम केस 2 लेंगे क्योंकि हमें दो आंसर्स मिले हैं यहाँ से. ठीक है, सो विल टेक ना -8. सो विल टेक इट एज -8. तो अब x का वैल्यू हो जाएगा -8 एंड x plus 1 का वैल्यू हो जाएगा -8 plus 1, which becomes equal to -7. Okay, so this becomes the second value. Okay, so now after solving this we get two values, that is -8 and -7. Okay, so ये दोनों हमारा आंसर्स हो जाए. Okay, now moving on to the next question. Okay, before moving on to the next question, we need to take a small information, that is consecutive. The question states consecutive means एक के बाद एक. Okay, और अगर question बोल रहा है कि positive integers है and even है, so even means what? 2, 4, 6, 8. so हर एक term के बाद we have the difference of 2. correct? So in that case हम क्या लेंगे? x, then x plus 2, then x plus 4. टू का डिफरेंस लेंगे। वही जब सिर्फ कंसेक्यूटिव बोला था वी यूज टू टेक ओनली वन डिफरेंस, करेक्ट। बट अगर हमें इवन नंबर्स बोल रहा है तो हम लोग दो का डिफरेंस लेंगे, ओके। एंड नाउ टॉकिंग अबाउट कंसेक्यूटिव पॉजिटिव ऑड नंबर्स के लिए अगेन 1 3 5 7, so these are the ones. So after adding 2 to each number we get the next number, correct? So in that case we'll get it as x plus 2, x plus 4 and so on, okay. अब अभी हमारे क्वेश्चन में बोल रहा है कि कंसेक्यूटिव नेचुरल नंबर, सो नेचुरल नंबर्स हमारा 1 से शुरू होता है, so we'll take it as x plus 1, x plus 2 and so on. Is it fine till here? So these are the patterns which can be asked in your board exams, okay. Now coming to type 2 question, when two numbers differ by certain number, okay. So two numbers differ by certain number, as in the question states you. So we'll first of all take a small information about the concept, okay. So we have been given two numbers, okay. So the question says that the two numbers differ from each other, okay, by certain number. So for example the difference is 7, okay. So we'll take the two numbers as x and y. Since they differ, so differ मतलब दोनों एक दूसरे से वैरी कर रहा है, तो कोई एक नंबर छोटा होगा एंड कोई एक नंबर बड़ा होगा, ओके। तो डिफरेंस में हम क्या करते हैं, डिफरेंस में वी डू इट एज लार्जेस्ट नंबर माइनस स्मॉलेस्ट नंबर, ओके, इज इक्वल टू दैट नंबर। अब क्योंकि हमारा लार्जेस्ट नंबर यहाँ पे है y एंड स्मॉलेस्ट नंबर है x, ओके, सो विल सब्स्टिट्यूट लार्जेस्ट में y एंड स्मॉलेस्ट में x, ओके, एंड द नंबर जिससे वो डिफर कर रहा है 7, सो हम 7 यहाँ पे सब्स्टिट्यूट कर देंगे, ओके। सो अब हम y का वैल्यू निकालेंगे, सो y बिकम्स, हम y का वैल्यू निकालेंगे x के टर्म्स में, तो हमारा सॉल्विंग इजी हो जाएगा। सो y बिकम्स इक्वल टू x प्लस 7, ओके। सो अब हमारा जो दो नंबर है, तो पहले हमारा दो नंबर्स क्या क्या था, x एंड y, ओके। अब हमारे प्रेजेंट नंबर्स है x एंड y को हम x के टर्म्स में ला रहे हैं, दैट इज x प्लस 7, ओके। नाउ फाइंड टू नेचुरल, we'll go to the question, okay. So again we'll highlight the important keywords, okay. So find two natural numbers, okay, natural numbers which differ by 3 and the sum of whose square is 170, okay. So how will you solve this question? So again two numbers बोल रहा है, so हम two numbers क्या लेंगे, x and y, correct. Now यहाँ बोल रहा है कि दोनों नंबर एक दूसरे से डिफर कर रहा है, तो हम मान लेते हैं कि ये हमारा लार्जेस्ट नंबर है एंड ये हमारा स्मॉलेस्ट नंबर है। So दोनों डिफर कर रहा है by 3, so we can write it as y minus x becomes equal to 3. So now we can write it as y is equal to 3 plus x, correct? Okay. So this is there, okay. अब हमारा दो इक्वेशन, दो नंबर्स कौन कौन से हो जाता है, x and x plus 3, okay. Now it says you the sum of whose square is 117. 117 मतलब the sum of whose square मतलब वो टू नंबर्स जो दिया हुआ है उन दोनों का स्क्वायर जो है वो 117 दे रहा है, ओके। सो वी कैन राइट इट एज x स्क्वायर प्लस y स्क्वायर इज इक्वल टू 117, ओके। दोनों का स्क्वायर हमने ले लिया। अब हमें पता है y इन टर्म्स ऑफ x, सो वी कैन राइट इट एज x स्क्वायर प्लस x प्लस 3 whole square is equal to 117. Now we know the formula, that is x square plus a plus b whole square is equal to x square plus 9 plus 6x is equal to 117. Fine. So we get it as 2x square plus 6x plus 9 minus 117 becomes equal to 0. So we get it as 2x square plus 6x, okay, and then you get it as 108 is equal to 0. अब हमें दिख रहा है कि ये जो कोफिशिएंट्स है x के, ओके, सो ये जो नंबर्स है ये सब 2 से डिविजिबल है, तो हम यहाँ पे से कॉमन निकालेंगे, ओके। सो 2 कॉमन निकालने के बाद हमें मिलेगा x स्क्वायर प्लस 3x माइनस, so 2 5s are 10 and 2 4s are 8 is equal to 0. So it becomes equal to x plus 3x minus 54 is equal to 0. अब 54 को हमें ऐसे स्प्लिट करना है कि हमारा वैल्यू 3 आ जाए, ओके। सो 54 को हम शुरू करेंगे 2 से, सो 2 एंड देन 27, नॉट पॉसिबल। इन दोनों को ऐड करने के बाद या सब्ट्रैक्ट करने के बाद हमारा वैल्यू 3 नहीं आएगा। नेक्स्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट द नेक्स्ट नंबर दैट इज 3, सो 3 हमें 3, सो विल टेक इट एज 1 एंड देन 8, ये भी पॉसिबल नहीं है क्योंकि इन दोनों को ऐड या सब्ट्रैक्ट करने के बाद वो नंबर नहीं आएगा। नाउ विल टेक द नेक्स्ट नंबर दैट इज 4, so 4 is not possible, 5 is not possible, and then we take the next number that is 6 and 9. so इन दोनों को अगर हम सब्ट्रैक्ट करेंगे तो हमारा वैल्यू 3 आ सकता है, ओके। सो नाउ we'll write it as x square. now 3 के आगे कौन सा साइन है, प्लस, सो इन दोनों में से बड़ा कौन है, 9, so we'll get it as plus 9x minus 6x minus 54 is equal to 0. अब हम कॉमन निकाल लेंगे x plus 9, okay, and minus 6, so x हो जाए, क्योंकि दोनों के पास माइनस है तो हम माइनस कॉमन निकालेंगे, so it becomes here as plus, so 9 is equal to 0 and then x minus 6, x plus 9 is equal to 0. So x becomes equal to 6 and minus 9. Okay. Now हमें 2 नंबर्स निकालने बोला है, हमारा अभी भी क्वेश्चन कंप्लीट नहीं हुआ है. ओके, सो हमारा पहला नंबर, हमारा x तो निकल गया बट y तो अभी तक नहीं निकला है. सो इन दैट केस हाउ विल यू सॉल्व दिस फर्दर? सो विल टेक द 2 कंडीशंस अगेन. सो वी हैव केस 1. Okay, when my x becomes equal to 6, so y becomes equal to what? So y is equal to 3 plus x, so it becomes equal to 3 plus 6, which becomes equal to 9. So my x is equal to 6 and y is equal to 9. This is from case 1 condition. Okay, now from case 2. From case 2 we know that my x becomes equal to minus 9, correct? And now again we'll substitute the value. Y is equal to 3 plus x. So 3 plus and then minus x. So we have 3 plus minus is minus, 9 is equal to minus 6. Now we'll again write it as x is equal to minus 9 and y is equal to minus 6. अब कौन सा सोल्यूशन हमें कंसिडर करना है और कौन सा डिस्कार्ड करना है? सो विल अगेन रीड द क्वेश्चन केयरफुली. फाइंड 2 नेचुरल नंबर्स. नेचुरल नंबर्स मीन्स ऐसे नंबर्स जो 1 से स्टार्ट होते हैं. स्टार्ट्स फ्रॉम 1, करेक्ट? तो इससे इसका नेगेटिव नंबर से कोई लेना देना नहीं है. एंड वील सी नाउ द आंसर. तो हमारा आंसर ये पॉजिटिव है बट ये दोनों ही नेगेटिव है. सो हम ये आंसर को डिस्कार्ड कर देंगे एंड ये आंसर को एक्सेप्ट कर देंगे. ओके, सो माय आंसर बिकम्स इक्वल टू x इज इक्वल टू 6 एंड x इज इक्वल टू y इज इक्वल टू 9. इज इट क्लियर टू यू? नाउ मूविंग ऑन टू द सेकंड पार्ट, दैट इज व्हेन सम ऑफ 2 नंबर्स आर गिवन, हाउ विल यू फाइंड द 2 नंबर्स? अभी हमने इसके पहले देखा जब 2 नंबर डिफर कर रहे हैं. अब जब 2 नंबर का हम सम लेंगे और सम जो है उसके थ्रू हमें वो 2 नंबर्स निकालना है. ओके, सो इसमें कॉन्सेप्ट बेसिकली क्या है? सो विल टेक द 2 नंबर्स अगेन एज x एंड y, क्योंकि हमें नहीं पता है कि कौन से नंबर्स है. सो विल टेक इट एज, विल अज्यूम इट टू बी एज x एंड y. ओके, and the sum, for example, in the question has been given as or mentioned as 8. Okay, so normally sum of 2 numbers is given as 8. So sum of 2 numbers मतलब 2 numbers हमने ले लिया है, that is x and y. So we'll take it as x plus y, which becomes equal to 8. अब हम y का वैल्यू in terms of x निकालेंगे. So y becomes equal to 8 minus x. Okay, so अब पहले हमारा 2 वैल्यूज था x and y. अब प्रेजेंटली हमारे 2 वैल्यूज हो जाएंगे x and 8 minus x. Is it fine till here? Clear? Now for example, so the sum of 2 natural numbers. Okay, so sum of 2 natural number is basically 8 and the difference between them is 2 by 15. So we need to find the numbers. So अब 2 numbers हम कौन कौन से लेंगे? So we'll take the 2 numbers as x and y. Okay, so it becomes x and y. अब इन दोनों का sum, that is x plus y, is given to as x or 8. Okay, and y is equal to 8 minus x. Right? Up the difference between the reciprocal, which means 1 by x and 1 by y, the difference between them becomes equal to 2 by 15. Okay, now we'll substitute the value of y here. So it becomes equal to 1 by x minus 1 by 8 minus x is equal to 2 by 15. Okay, अब हम क्या करेंगे? अब हम एलसीएम लेंगे. ठीक है, so it becomes equal to x into 8 minus x. So you get it as 8 minus x is equal to 2 by 15. ठीक है, so अब इसे सॉल्व करेंगे फर्दर. So we get it as 8 minus 2x by x into 8 minus x is equal to 2 by 15. So it becomes 8 minus 2x into 15 is equal to, cross multiply. Okay, so get it as 8x minus x square. Fine. Now we can take 2 as common one. So you get it as 4 minus x is equal to 2 into 8x minus x. Okay, so 2 और 2 cancel हो जाएगा. So we get it as 15 into 4 minus x is equal to 8x minus x. तो इसको हो जाएगा 60. 15x is equal to, so this is basically 15. Okay, 8x minus x square. So now we'll place the value towards the left hand side. So it becomes equal to x square minus 8x minus 15x. Just a minute. So it becomes equal to square minus 8x minus 15x plus 60 is equal to 0. So you get it as x square minus 23x plus 60 is equal to 0. अब हमें 60 को ऐसे डिवाइड करना है कि हमें 23 मिले. So you can write it as 30 and 2. So again, if you subtract or add it, you won't get it as 23. Now 3. So you can get 3 and then here 20. So अब अगर इन दोनों को हम add करेंगे, so you can get it as 23. So you can write it as x square minus, इन दोनों में से बड़ा 20 है, so we'll place here and then plus 3x plus 60 is equal to 0. Okay, so we'll take x as common one. plus 3 into x plus, just a minute, there's one error here, that is you can write here as minus, okay, minus, and then minus, you get it as minus 20 is equal to 0. So अब हम क्लब कर देंगे x minus 3 and x minus 20 is equal to 0. So x becomes equal to 3 and 20. Okay. So ये हमारे x के वैल्यूज आए. अभी हमें x and y निकालना है. Okay. So now we'll take case 1. So case 1 means when my x is equal to 3. So y becomes equal to, so now y is equal to what? 8 minus x. Okay. So you can write it as 8 minus x, which becomes equal to 8 minus 3, which is equal to 5. So now हमारा values जो हो जाएगा 8 x का वो है 3 and then y is equal to, this is first one. Then case 2, okay. So case 2 will take x is equal to 20. So now y becomes equal to 8 minus x. So 8 minus 20. So which becomes equal to, it becomes equal to minus 12. So now here x becomes equal to 20 and now y becomes equal to minus 12. This is the second step. Now अब हम इक्वेशन में ध्यान से, हम क्वेश्चन ध्यान से पढ़ेंगे. सम ऑफ टू नेचुरल नंबर्स. ओके, नेचुरल नंबर्स मींस दोज नंबर्स विच स्टार्ट्स फ्रॉम 1. करेक्ट. सो इट डजंट हैव एनी नेगेटिव नंबर, बट यहाँ पे y का वैल्यू नेगेटिव है, सो हम इसे रिजेक्ट कर देंगे, इसे एक्सेप्ट कर देंगे. सो नाउ दिस बिकम्स माय फाइनल आंसर. ओके. Now, moving on to the next topic, that is a type 3, when a certain number is divided into 2 or more than 2 parts. Okay. So हमें क्वेश्चन में दिया रहेगा कि एक कोई नंबर है, हम उस नंबर को डिवाइड कर दे रहे into 2 parts. Okay. And डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर दे रहे और डिवाइड कर दे रहे. Okay. So the main concept behind this is basically we'll take 2 parts. So we'll take a number and that is x and y. Okay. So now how will you get to know that what will be the division? So now अब हम कोई चीज को, लाइक फॉर एग्जाम्पल 26 को आई हैव डिवाइडेड इनटू 2 एंड 24. करेक्ट. तो इन दोनों का एडिशन, दैट इज 2 एंड 24 का एडिशन भी तो हमें 26 ही देगा. करेक्ट. सो इन दैट केस सेम थिंग, हम उस नंबर को x एंड y में डिवाइड देंगे. अगर हम दोनों का सम भी लेंगे तो भी हमें अल्टीमेटली वो नंबर ही मिलेगा. करेक्ट. सो इन दैट केस वी कैन राइट इट एज y इज इक्वल टू दैट नंबर माइनस x. तो अब हमारा रिन्यूड वैल्यूज हो जाएगा x एंड नंबर माइनस x. ओके. Now, we'll solve this question. The question says here that the positive number, okay, so the question says positive, okay, positive number is divided into 2 parts, okay, such that the sum of the squares of 2 parts is 20, okay. So पहले हम इतना कर लेते हैं. So हमारे दो numbers कौन कौन से हैं? So हमारे दो numbers as usual x and y है, okay. बट क्योंकि हमारा एक नंबर 2 पार्ट में डिवाइड हो गया है, तो अगर हम उस 2 पार्ट को कंबाइन भी करेंगे तो हमें अल्टीमेटली वही नंबर मिलेगा, विच मीन्स माई x प्लस वाई बिकम्स इक्वल टू दैट पर्टिकुलर नंबर. ओके, दैट इज नंबर. सो y becomes equal number minus x. Correct. Okay. Now the question says the sum of the squares of 2 parts is 20. मतलब हम जब दोनों पार्ट का स्क्वायर ले लेंगे. ओके. सो द सम ऑफ द 2 पार्ट्स बिकम्स इक्वल टू 20. So how will you solve in that case? Okay, so हम यहाँ पे लिखेंगे the sum of the square of 2 parts, that is x square plus y square becomes equal to 20. Okay, okay. The square of the larger part is 8 times smaller the so the square of larger part. Okay, so we'll take this as larger. Okay, so the square of larger part is 8 times. 8 times means 8 into the smaller part. The smaller part is basically x. Okay, so y square is basically equal to 8x. Okay, so taking x as the smaller part, so हमें क्वेश्चन में दिया हुआ है कि हमें x जो है वो स्मॉलर लेना है. ठीक है. Of the 2 parts, find the number. Okay, so this has been one of your boards question, 2010 boards question. Okay, so now सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज हम क्या करेंगे, हमें एक ये इक्वेशन दिया हुआ है और हमें एक ये इक्वेशन दिया है, तो हमें कुछ कॉमन दिख रहा है, दैट इज y square. Can we substitute this value into this equation? Yes, you can substitute. So you get it as x square plus 8x is equal to 20. Now again x square plus 8x minus 20 becomes equal to 0. So now अब 20 को 2 पार्ट में डिवाइड कर देंगे, 2 and 10. अगर हम इन दोनों का सब्ट्रैक्शन लेंगे, we get it as 8. So you get it as x square plus 10x minus 2x minus 20 becomes equal to 0. So we'll take x as common. So x plus 10 and then 2 x plus 10 becomes equal to 0. So x becomes equal to this. Okay, so अब हम फाइनल लिख सकते हैं x is equal to 2 and minus 10. So these are the values of x. Okay. अब क्योंकि हमें दोनों values निकालने हैं करेक्ट, so x का value हमें मिल गया है. Okay. So we can take a case 1. So case 1 में हमें क्या दिया है, x is equal to 2. So y becomes equal to what? So y is basically nothing but we have the equation as y square is equal to 8x. So we can write it as y square is equal to 8 into 2, which becomes equal to y square is equal to 16. So y becomes equal to 4. So the first answer is x is equal to 2 and y is equal to 4. Okay. Now next is basically your case 2. Case 2 में हमें x का वैल्यू क्या दिया हुआ है, x का वैल्यू जो है वो -10 दिया हुआ है. So again we'll solve this question, that is y square is equal to 8 into x, which becomes equal to 8 into -10, which becomes -80. So y is equal to root over -80. So this is again not possible. So ये क्योंकि possible नहीं है, so we'll discard this solution. Okay, and we'll accept this solution. Also the question, दूसरा जो बहुत important word the question uses is positive number. Positive means हमारे आंसर्स जो है वो पॉजिटिव आना चाहिए. Okay, these are the positive numbers. So my answer is it clear to you? Okay, next is टाइप 4 क्वेश्चन व्हेन द नंबर्स आर गिवन इन रेशियो. जब हमारे नंबर्स रेशियो में दिए होते हैं तो हमें कैसे सॉल्व करना है. सो इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू रिमेंबर कि जब भी हमारा टर्म जब भी हमें इस टर्म को देखने मिले, सो इन दैट केस ऑलवेज प्लेस एक्स देयर. ओके, ऑलवेज प्लेस x there. That is, the question says here, for example, 3 positive integers. Again, 3 positive integers are in the ratio of this. So this is the ratio given to you. Okay. But find the numbers if the sum of the squares is इतना. तो हमें 3 नंबर दिए हुए हैं. Okay. So उसके ratios दिए हुए हैं. तो हम 3 numbers कौन कौन से लेंगे? So let the numbers be as. So let the numbers be as. So क्योंकि ये ratio में है, so again x by 2, x by 3 and x by 4. Okay, so now the question says find the numbers of the square of the if the sum of the squares is 244. मतलब individually हम सबका squares लेंगे. ठीक है, and then square लेने के बाद हम सबका sum ले लेंगे, and then इसको add करने के बाद हमारा value 244 आएगा. Okay, so now so it becomes equal to x square by 4 plus x square by 9 plus x square by 16 is equal to 244. Correct. So अब इसका LCM जो हो जाएगा वो हो जाएगा 144. Okay. So now 144 means what? 4 3s are 12. Okay. And then 4 6 are 24 plus 16x square plus 9x square is equal to 244. So अब हमें इसका वैल्यू क्या मिलेगा? So we get that 36x square plus 25x square is equal to 244. यहाँ क्योंकि ये डिवीजन में, उधर जाके वो मल्टीप्लीकेशन में हो जाएगा. Now adding the terms, so you get it as 61x square is equal to 244 into 144. इसे further solve करेंगे, that is you get it as x square is equal to 244 into 144. You get it as 144 by 61. So this gets cancelled 4 times. So it becomes equal to 4 into 144 is equal to x square. Okay. So x becomes equal to 4 into 144. So 4 का root है 2 into 144 का root है 12. So this becomes equal to 12. Now the solution doesn't end here. So the question says you to find the numbers. So ये numbers जो है वो ratio में है. हमें actual proper numbers निकालने, fractional values नहीं निकालना है. Okay. So in that case, we'll substitute the values. So the first number, so number 1 becomes equal to x by 2. So x by 2 means 24 by 2, which becomes equal to 12. Then number 2, that is x by 3, which becomes equal to 24 by 3, which is equal to 8. Correct. And then number 3, that becomes equal to x by 4, which is equal to 24 by 4, which is nothing but equal to 6. So अब ये जो आंसर है हमारे फाइनल. So now we'll deal with the time and work problem, which includes your work done problem and Cistern problems. So we'll come to the core concept of this. Okay. So first of all, if the question says you that A completes a work in X hours and B completes the works in Y hours. Okay. So and both of them they complete the work in H hours. So how will you calculate it? In that case, what will happen is total time taken by A and B becomes equal to X plus Y is equal to H. Okay. And we can calculate the value of Y in terms of X, that is H minus X. Now the question says us both of them, that is A and B, Okay, they complete the work, they work together. Okay, so if the question says you that both A and B they do the work together, then in that case we need to take the sum of reciprocal of the two terms. Okay, that is A and B, that is X and Y. Okay, so how will you calculate it? So normally we need to write it as 1 by X 1 by Y is equal to 1 by time taken in total. Okay, so in that case, y can be replaced as h minus x, which is there in this equation, correct? So you can write it as 1 by x plus 1 by h minus x is equal to 1 by time taken. Okay, so x is basically the time taken by A, and h minus x is the time taken by B, which is nothing but ultimately a y. Okay, so now talking with about this question. Okay, so it says here that A will highlight the key points first. So A can do a piece of work in x days. Okay, and similarly, B can do the same work in x plus 16 days. If both are working together, then in that case, it completes in 15 days. Calculate x. So again, we'll first of all know how to solve it. So A solves the problem in x days, okay, and B also does the same work in x plus 16 days, okay. And the question says if both are working together, which means we get a concept here, that is 1 by x plus 1 by y is equal to 1 by total time taken, correct? So in that case, since both are working together, so we'll add the number of days of both of them taken by both of them. So we'll take it as 1 by 1 by x plus 16, which becomes equal to 1 by 15. Okay, so now we'll take the addition of it, that is x into x plus 16, x plus 16 plus x is equal to 1 by 15. So you get it as 2x plus 16 by x square plus 16x is equal to 1 by 15. Okay, solving this further. So we get it as 15 into 2x plus 16 is equal to x square plus 16x. Okay, now you'll get it as 30x plus 16 into 5 is 80, 0 carry 8, and then 15 into 1 is 15, 15 plus 8 is 240. Okay, so you get it as 240 is equal to x square plus 16x. So you get it as x square plus 16x minus 30x minus 240 is equal to 0. So now you get it as x square minus 14x minus 240 is equal to 0. Now we can directly see here that 240 can be split into 24 and 10. So if you divide, if you subtract both of them, you get it as 14. So you can write it as x square minus the biggest, that is 24, 24x plus 10x minus 240 is equal to 0. So you get it as x minus 24 plus 10, and then x minus 24 is equal to 0. Now solving this further, so you get it as x plus 10 and then x minus 24, which becomes equal to 0. So ultimately you get it as x is equal to minus 10 and x is equal to 24. Now which solution should you discard and which one should you accept? So in that case, x is equal to minus 10. X here is nothing but your time taken. So time taken can never be negative. So we'll discard the solution and we'll accept the solution. So this becomes the correct answer. That is x is equal to 24. Okay. Now moving on to the second question. The question says here that a pipe can fill a cistern in 3 hours less than the other. So it says here that one pipe can fill the cistern in 3 hours, which is less than the other. Okay, and the pipes they fill together the cistern in 6 hours 40 minutes. Find the time taken by each pipe, okay, to fill the cistern. So in that case, how will you solve the question? So the question says here, so we'll consider that if one pipe, the first pipe takes x hours, okay, then the second pipe will take x minus 3 hours. Correct? Because the question says here that one pipe can fill a cistern in 3 hours less than the other. So other, if this is x, then it becomes x minus 3, 3 less than that. Okay. Now, the time taken by both of them is basically 6 hours 40 minutes. So we'll convert it in totality into hours. Okay. So how will we convert? So always remember that 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. Okay. So if you have to convert 40 minutes, you get it as 40 minutes is equal to 40 by 60. Okay, so you get reduced, so you get it as 2 by 3. Okay, and now add it, so you get it as 6 2 by 3, which becomes equal to 6 3 is 18 plus 20, 2, that is 20. So this is the number of hours. Now the question says here that if both of them work together, which ultimately means that 1 by x plus 1 by the second pipe is x minus 3 is equal to 1 by 20 divided by 3. Okay, so you can write this as 1 by x plus 1 by x minus 3 is equal to 3 by 20. Okay, now you'll solve this further as the above question and you'll get the values of x as 15 and 4 by 3. Okay. Now moving on to the next topic, that is problem based on geometrical figures. Okay. So geometrical figures, before moving on to the type 1 question, we'll first of all have a glance on basic formulas. Okay. So what are the basic formulas? So if you have a right angle triangle, okay, if you have a right angle triangle, then in that case, this is basically your one of the formula that is called as Pythagoras theorem. That is hypotenuse square is equal to base square plus height square. Okay. Then the area of right angle triangle is equal to half into base into height. Area of a rectangle is equal to length into breadth. Perimeter of a rectangle is equal to 2 into length plus breadth. Area of square is equal to a square and perimeter of square is equal to 4 into a. That is a is okay. So now moving to the type 1 problem, that is problem based on your right angle triangle and rectangle. So the question states here that the hypotenuse of a right angle triangle, okay, exceeds one side by 1 centimeter. Okay, one of the side is exceeded by 1 centimeter and the other side is exceeded by 18 centimeter. You need to calculate the length of its side, okay, of that particular triangle. Okay, so very important point here to note down is basically exceeds means negative. Okay, clear? So in that case, how will you solve this question? So we'll consider a hypotenuse, okay? So hypotenuse becomes equal to x, okay? So it says here that one of the sides, okay, exceeds by 1, which means x minus 1, and the other side exceeds by 18, it is x minus 18, okay? Clear? Now, how will you solve this? So we know one of the theorem, that is hypotenuse square is equal to base square plus length square. So hypotenuse is nothing but x square is equal to base square is x minus 1 whole square plus x minus 18 whole square. Okay. Now, how will you solve this further? So it becomes equal to x square is equal to x square plus 1 minus 2x plus x square plus 324 minus 2 into 18 is 36x. Okay. Now, solving this further, so this x and x gets cancelled. Okay, so you get it as x square and then minus 38x plus 325 is equal to 0. Now, solving this further, so when you do middle term splitting, after doing middle term splitting, you get it as x square minus 13x minus 25x plus 325 is equal to 0. So you get it as x minus 13 minus 25, x minus 13 is equal to 0. So x minus 25 and then x minus 13 is equal to 0. X is equal to 25 and 13. Okay. So this is basically the length of the triangle given. Okay. So now the very first thing, again, we'll take it into two cases. Case 1. Okay. So we'll consider first x is equal to 25, which means if my x is 25, which my hypotenuse is 25, so one of the first side, okay, that becomes equal to x minus 1, which becomes equal to 25 minus 1, which is equal to 24. And the second side, okay, side, that becomes equal to x minus 18, which is equal to 25 minus 18. So 25 minus 18 is nothing but 7 centimeter. Okay. Now, moving on to the case 2. So in that case 2, we have, okay, so we'll take x is equal to 13. Now, your first side becomes equal to 13 minus 1, which is equal to 12. And the second side becomes equal to 13 minus 18, which is equal to minus 5. So this is negative. So that is why we discard the solution. The side cannot be negative. Okay, so we'll consider this solution. So this particular solution becomes our final answer. Okay. Now, moving on to the next question, that is the diagonal of a rectangle is given to us as 60 meter and that is more than its shorter side. So we'll first of all decode this problem. So first of all, the diagonal of a rectangle, okay, is 60 meter more than the shorter side, okay, and the larger side is 60 meter more than the shorter side, okay. So we need to calculate the sides of the rectangle, okay. So how will you solve this? So first of all, we'll assume that my shorter side, because everything has a relation with that of the shorter side. So we'll take the shorter side as x. So now my diagonal becomes equal to, so diagonal is equal to x plus 60 because it's 60 more than shorter side. So x plus 60 and my larger side becomes equal to, it's 30 more than shorter side. So you can write it as x plus 30. Okay. Now We'll use the Pythagoras theorem again, but before it, we'll understand what is the formula of a diagonal, okay, in a rectangle. So this is basically my diagonal, okay. So now if we consider this particular portion, this particular diagonal, okay, if we consider this particular portion, so in this portion, this is my hypotenuse, this is my base, and this is my length. So it becomes equal to h square is equal to L square plus B square. This is nothing but a right angle triangle. So we can write it as h square is equal to L square plus B square, which means my diagonal, that is diagonal is the hypotenuse. So we can write it as x plus 60 whole square is equal to the x square plus x plus 30 whole square. Okay, we'll solve this. X square plus 3600 plus 120x is equal to x square plus 900 plus 60x. Okay, so now this x and x gets cancelled. So now you're left with x square, and then you're left with minus 60x. Okay, and then minus 3600 minus 900 is nothing but 2700 is equal to 0. Okay, so how will you split this? So 2700, which means you need to split 27 into two parts so that you get 6. So in that case, you can take 9 and 3, correct? So if you take 90 and 30, you ultimately get that 60, correct? So you can take it as x square, then minus 90x plus 30x minus 2700 is equal to 0. So you get it as x minus 90 plus 30, x minus 90 is equal to 0. So we group it x plus 30 and then x minus 90 is equal to 0. Okay. Now, you get the x value as 90 and minus 30. So again, your side can never be negative. So this is discarded and this solution is accepted. Okay, so now x becomes equal to 90. Now the value of x is 90, which means this is nothing but, x was nothing but my shorter side. So my shorter side is basically 90. Okay, now talking about the diagonal, so diagonal becomes equal to 90 plus 60, which is equal to 150. Okay, and larger side becomes equal to 90 plus 30, which is equal to 150. So this becomes final. Okay, now moving on to the next question, that is the path questions. Okay, this is the type 2 question, and this question is a very famous question. Boards asks this question every year. So you have either the path questions to be asked, or tiles question, or the fencing question. Okay, so how to understand the concept is basically the question says here that this is basically your right outer rectangle. This particular portion is your outer rectangle. Okay, and then you have one inner rectangle as well. So if you subtract, if you need to calculate the value of this leftover portion, this red portion, okay, so if you have to calculate the values of these red portion, okay, so you need to subtract the area of the outer rectangle with that of the area of the inner rectangle in order to obtain the leftover path. Is it clear till here? So you need to subtract the outer rectangle. If my outer rectangle is 50 and my inner rectangle, for example, is 26, then in that case my path becomes equal to 50 minus 26, which becomes ultimately equal to 20. Okay, so this is just an example. Okay, now we'll talk about the question. Okay, so now we'll solve this question. So the question says us that a footpath of uniform width, okay, runs inside the rectangle field that is 32-meter long and 24-meter wide. Okay, and if the path occupies this meter square, okay, find the width of the footpath. Okay, so which means the question says you that you have been given a rectangle, okay, and you have another rectangle inside that. Okay, so this basically the leftover portion is nothing but your footpath, correct? So this is your footpath and you need to calculate the width of the footpath. Now, first of all, the very important thing given here is the sides of your outer rectangle, that is you have 32-meter, okay, and this is your 24-meter. Okay, now this is your outer rectangle. How will you calculate the inner rectangle sides? So first of all, if you check this, so this must have certain width, correct? We'll assume it as W, and this also must have certain width. Okay, so we'll also assume this as W, correct? Okay, so how will you write this? Now this also has certain width and this also has certain width. So can we write this side as, so this side in totality it is 32 here, correct? So now if you want to talk about this particular side, okay, so how will you write this particular side? In that case, you need to see here. So if you subtract this W and this W from this 32, can we get this side? can we write it as 32 minus W minus W? Okay. So which means, I'll repeat this once again. You have this as one of the widths and this is the other width. Okay. So now the total length is basically my 32. If I need to calculate only this part of it, okay, then in that case, what will I do? I'll subtract my width of these both, okay, with 32. So I'll get the remaining part, which means it becomes 32 minus 2W. Okay. Now, this is for the width. Now talking about your length. Okay. So now if you talk about length, in that case, what will happen is, please look carefully. So in length case, the same thing happens. You need to subtract this W. Okay. So you have the entire length as 24. So if you subtract this W from this and this W from this, so you'll get the remaining portion of it, that is 24. If you subtract W from both the sides of, you get it as 24 minus 2W. Correct? So these are the two sides which you get it of the inner rectangle. Correct? Now, how will you calculate it further? So I told you the area of the path. Okay. So we know the formula. The area of the path is nothing but equal to your area of outer rectangle minus area of inner rectangle. Correct? So in that case, what will happen? So now area of path is already given to me as 208. Can we substitute the same value? Okay, is equal to outer is already given to me as 24 into 32. Since it is an area, so length into breadth minus. Again, now inner rectangle. Inner rectangle sides we have calculated as this 24 minus 2W and 32 minus 2W. Okay, so we can write the same thing, 24 minus 2W into 32 minus 2W. Okay, now can we solve this further? So we'll again break the brackets. You get it as 208 is equal to, so 24 minus 32 is nothing but 768 minus again 768 and then plus 64W and then plus 48W minus 4W square. Okay, this gets cancelled. Okay, so now you're left with 4W square minus 48W and then plus, I'm sorry, now you're left with minus 64W and then plus 208 is equal to 0. Now you'll solve this further, which means 4W square minus 48 minus 64 is nothing but 2 carry 1, which is equal to 112. So 112W plus 208 is equal to 0. Now we'll see this. So this, all the numbers are divided by 4. So can we take 4 as common? So we can get it as W square minus, get it as 28W plus 52 is equal to 0. We get it as W square minus 28W plus 52 is equal to 0. Correct? Now, solving this further from middle term splitting. So again, we'll take 52. We'll divide it into two parts, 2 and then 26. Okay, so now if you add these both, you get it as 28 easy. Correct? So you get it as W square minus 26W minus 2W plus 52 is equal to 0. And then you get W and then W minus 26 minus 2 and then W minus 26 is equal to 0. So you get it as W minus 2 and W minus 26 is equal to 0. Okay. So now after solving this, we get the values of W as. So W becomes equal to 2 and then 26. These two values. Okay. So now again, we'll calculate. So this is basically, so we'll again take the case 1 and case 2. So you have case 1 when W is equal to 2. Okay. So the question says here, find the width of the footpath. Okay. So how will you calculate the width of the footpath? So if W is equal to 26, then the breadth of inner rectangle becomes equal to, so for example, if my width is 26, okay. So then in that case, the breadth of inner rectangle becomes equal to what? 32 minus 26 into 2, which is equal to, see, how did this equation came is, we'll see this. So inner rectangle has two parts, okay, 32 minus 2W and 24 minus 2W, okay. So in that case, how will you calculate your this? So you have breadth becomes equal to 32 minus 2W, which is equal to 32 minus 2 into 26, which is equal to 32 minus 52, which is nothing but a negative value. That is, you can say it as 20. Okay. So again, I told you the sides can never be 20. So we'll discard the solution. Now again, we'll go for W is equal to 2. So if W becomes equal to 2, my B becomes equal to 32 minus 2W, which is equal to 32 minus 2 into 2, which is equal to 4. That is 32 minus 4, and the answer is 28. Now again, taking the other one, that is your length, which becomes equal to 24 minus 2W. That is 24 minus 2 into 2. That is 24 minus 4 is equal to 20. So these two are the values which becomes your final answer. So this is all about your footpath questions. Okay. Now talking about the other question, that is a tiles question. Okay. So the tiles question can vary. It's not important. The question which I am discussing is the same everywhere. Okay. So we'll look at this question carefully. The question says here the area is paved with square tiles of a size. Okay. So basically you have a particular area and that area is filled with square tiles. Okay. So we have taken square tiles here. Okay. And the size of the square is basically fixed. Fine. So we have taken that as fixed size of it. So we'll take, if the square size is there, okay, so we'll take the one of the side as x, correct? So if one side is x, the other sides are also x because it is a square tiles, correct? So in that case, the area is paved with the square tiles of a certain size and the number required is 128, okay? So if you pave that area, so you can take the area of tiles becomes equal to x square, correct? And the area. So if you talk about the entire area of this particular uh, floor, then in that case, what will happen? Area of needed part becomes equal to what? So you have 128 tiles if you take x as the size of one tile. So it becomes 128 into x square. So for every tiles, we'll calculate the area. So it becomes equal to 128 x square. Okay. So this is your totality, which your question says till now. Okay. Now, if the tiles have been 2 centimeters smaller means we have reduced the size of the tiles by 2 centimeter. Then in that case, 200 tiles would be needed. Okay. To pave the same area. Okay. So for example, if I have reduced the size of my tiles, okay, so in that case, if I have reduced the size of my size by 2 centimeter, then in that case, similar tiles will be taken, but 200 tiles will be taken all at once. Okay. So in that case, what will happen? So again, I'll take area. Okay. Area of tiles. After being reduced. So after being reduced, what is the area of the tile? So if one side is x, the other side becomes equal to x minus 2, correct? Because the size has been reduced by 2 centimeter. So we don't know what is the actual size of the tiles. So we'll consider as x. So x minus 2 and whole square, because since it is an area of a square, so it's side into side. So if one side is x minus 2, the other sides are also x minus 2. So ultimately you get it as x minus 2 whole square, correct? Now we'll again take the area, in fact total area of that. Okay, the total area becomes equal to, so if your size of the tiles is reduced by 2 centimeter, then in that case you will require 200 tiles. Okay, so in that case you get it as 200 into x minus 2 whole square. Now comes a very important point here, that is the question states you here that in the same floor, for example, we'll consider this as your floor. Okay, now in this same floor, मतलब इस same जमीन में हम लोग को उतने ही टाइल्स यूज करना है। तो जब हम पहले यूज कर रहे थे टाइल्स, तो हमारा एरिया था एक्स स्क्वायर, तो हमने 128 टाइल्स लिया। ओके, बट सेकेंड टाइम जब हम उसका साइज रिड्यूस कर दे रहे हैं, तो हमारे 200 टाइल्स लग रहे हैं सेम फ्लोर में। तो हमारा एरिया जो कवर करना है टाइल से, वो तो सेम है अल्टीमेटली, चाहे हम टाइल्स का साइज बढ़ाए या घटाए, जितना एरिया मेरे को कवर करना है वो एरिया तो फिक्स्ड है, वो एरिया तो चेंज नहीं हो रहा है। सो इन दैट केस व्हाट विल हैपन? इन दैट केस वी कैन राइट इट एज 128x square is equal to 200 into x minus 2 whole square। क्यों? क्योंकि इन दोनों का एरिया सेम है। जो टाइल्स हम लोग एक्चुअल में लाए थे जिसका साइज x था, वो भी उतना ही एरिया को कवर कर रहा है, एंड जब हम वो साइज रिड्यूस कर दे रहे हैं तो भी वो उतना ही एरिया को कवर कर रहा है। सो इन दैट केस वी कैन इक्वेट इट। ओके, सो इन दैट केस यू गेट इट एज 128x square is equal to 200x square plus 4 minus 4x। Okay, now first of all, we can cancel these values. Okay, so you can write it as x square is equal to 200 by 128 and then x square plus 4 minus 4x. So you get it as, so again cancel it, 200 and 128. So you get it as 100 and then 64 then you get it as 50 and then 32, then 16 and 20. Okay, so now you're left with x square is equal to 25 by 16 x square plus 4 minus 4x. Okay, now we'll cross multiply, that is 16x square is equal to 25x square plus 25 into 4 is 100 minus 100x. Okay, now we'll equate it again, taking it to the right hand side, that is 25 minus 16 is 9x square plus 100 minus 100x is equal to 0. We'll arrange it in the form of quadratic equation. So 9x square minus 100x plus 100 is equal to 0. Okay, as usual, we flip it. So we need to multiply this 9 and 100 together, correct? So in that case, how will you solve it? See, we need to multiply this 9 and 100. Okay, so you get it as 900. From this 900, you need to bring this 100. So how will you bring this 100? Okay, so from 900, you can write this as 90 and then 10, correct? So you can write it as 9x square minus 90x minus 10x plus 100 is equal to 0. So you can take the common ones out, that's 10 and then 10 x minus 10 is equal to 0. So 9x minus 10 and then x minus 10 is equal to 0. So x becomes equal to 10 by 9, that is equal to और अदरवाइज 10. अब हमें डिसाइड करना है कि इनमें से कौन सा हमें एक्सेप्ट करना है और कौन सा रिजेक्ट करना है. ओके, सो अगेन विल डू द सेम थिंग, दैट इज जब हमारा साइन रिड्यूस हो गया था, रिड्यूस होने के बाद क्या था x minus 2. तो पहले विल टेक केस 1 where my x is equal to 10 by 9. So you can take it as x as 10 by 9 minus 2, which is again equal to 10 minus 18 by 9, which is minus 8 by 9. Again ये नेगेटिव वैल्यू है तो हम इसे डिस्कार्ड कर देंगे. ओके, ना केस 2 में हम क्या करेंगे, x is equal to 10. x minus 2 कितना हो जाएगा, 10 minus 2 which is equal to 8. So 8 is the answer for this question. Okay, clear? So basically, this becomes your answer because you get the positive number. So the answer becomes equal to x is equal to 10. So the size of the larger tire should be basically 10. Now moving on to the next problem, that is problem based on distance, speed and time. Okay. So in this question is again very important. Okay. So the questions can be on the basis of a train or aeroplane or cars. Okay. Where the speed, is increased, decreased, is more or less. Okay. So this type of question is also asked in boats. Okay. So now speed is increased. So if the question states, okay, there's a trick for this question. So if the question states that if my speed is increased or is more, then in that case, we'll add x plus the increased value of that particular thing. Okay. If my speed is decreased or it is less, then in that case, I'll take x minus the decreased value. Okay. Now we'll look into the question to get the concept. Okay. So now the question says the car covers a distance. Again, we'll underline the key points. Okay. Car covers a distance. Distance is basically 400 kilometer. Okay, at certain speed. Okay, so the distance is given to us as 400 kilometers. Had the speed been 12 kilometer per hour more. Okay, the speed is this and more. Very important point to note here. This is more. Okay, the time taken for the journey becomes 1 hour 40 minutes less. Okay. This is again other important point. So you need to calculate the average speed. Okay. So how will you calculate that? So first of all, we'll take the first instant. That is, a car covers a distance of 400 kilometers at a certain speed. Okay. Now, can we take out the time for that particular car? Okay. So the time taken by the car to travel that distance is basically distance by speed. Correct. So in that case, you can take it as 400. Since the question asks you about speed, correct? So that is an unknown parameter. We'll substitute it with the x value. Okay. So this is basically the time. Now, had the speed been 12 kilometer more, so my speed has been increased. Okay. The time taken for the journey becomes equal to 1 hour 40 minutes less. So in that case, the question says that time which is taken, okay, after I increase my speed, see, ultimately I need to reach the same destination, which is 400, correct? So my car is there, okay? This is my car. This moves to a destination place, okay? This way. So this is basically 400 kilometer far. So if it moves with a normal speed also, that is x speed, then also it will reach, then also the distance will be 4 kilometer per hour, correct? And even if the car, this particular car, same car moves with the x plus 12 the speed, okay, with this much speed, ultimately it needs to reach the same destination, which is again 400 kilometer per, correct? So in that case, the distance is same even though the speed is increased or decreased. The distance remains the same. Okay, so the second time taken becomes equal to the distance is same. Now the question says here the time taken for the journey would have been 1 hour 40 minutes less. But the speed is after I increment my speed, then my time gets decremented, correct? So in that case, can I write this as x plus 12? Okay, because my speed has been increased by 12 kilometer per hour. Okay, now the question says that there's a difference in time. Okay, there's a difference in time only when the speed has been increased. Okay, and that too the time difference is less. If the question says more, we'll add it. Okay, so change here, this time is basically less. Okay, then in that case, time difference becomes equal to what? Time taken by 1, okay, minus the time taken by 2, which becomes equal to the time difference is given to us as 1 hour 40 minutes. So 1 hour 40 minutes can be written as what? So 1 hour 40 minutes can be written as 1 plus, okay? So you can write it as 1 plus 40 by 60. The ones which you have to convert it into minutes. Always when you convert your minutes to hours, okay? So convert it into just by dividing it by 60. Okay, clear? So in that case, how will you write it? You'll cancel this, you get it as 2, and then you can just see, you get it as 400 by x minus 400 by x plus 12. Okay, so now it becomes equal to 5 by 3, which is equal to 400 by x minus 400 by x plus 12. Okay, अब again हम लोग वापस से वही सेम एलसीएम लेंगे. Okay, that is x and then x plus 12. So this becomes equal to 400 x plus 12 minus 400 into x. Okay. अब वापस से ब्रैकेट खोलेंगे. That is 400 x plus 12 was a 4800. Okay, minus 400 x by. So this becomes x square plus 12x. Okay. So ये 400 and 400 cancel हो जाएगा. So again we'll cross multiply. So 5x square plus 12 into 5 is 60x is equal to. So 3 times 4800. Okay. क्लियर ना. अब हम क्या करेंगे, तो हमें दिख रहा है, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल विल ब्रिंग इट इनटू द क्वाड्रेटिक फॉर्म. दैट इज यू कैन राइट इट एज जस्ट अ मिनट, you can write it as 5x square plus 60x minus 3 into 4800 is equal to 0. Okay, so this is a very common picture. Okay, now you can see this that all the three numbers, okay, this is divisible by 5, so I'll take 5 as common, so you get it as x squared plus 12x, okay? X squared plus 12x, okay? Minus, after you take this as common, you get it as 22880 is equal to 0. So you get it as x squared plus 12x minus 2880 is equal to 0. Fine? अब हम इसे स्प्लिट करेंगे ऐसे कि हमारा 12 बाय. ओके, सो अब इसे स्प्लिट करने के लिए हमें क्या करना पड़ेगा, सेम टेक्निक. ठीक, सो इसे स्प्लिट करने के बाद हमें मिलेगा 60x minus 48x minus 2880 is equal to 0. So x plus 60, okay, minus 48 हम कॉमन ले लेंगे, so you get it as x plus 60 is equal to 0. Okay, now again the same thing, x minus 48, okay, and then x plus 60 is equal to 0. So x का वैल्यू क्या होगा, 48 और minus 60. Again क्योंकि ये माइनस 60 है, स्पीड है, वो नेगेटिव नहीं हो सकता, सो विल डिस्कार्ड दिस सॉल्यूशन, सो वील एक्सेप्ट दिस सॉल्यूशन एंड दिस बिकम्स द फाइनल आंसर. हमारा ओरिजिनल स्पीड कितना होना चाहिए था, 48 किलोमीटर पर आवर. ऑब्वियसली व्हेन यू राइट द आंसर फॉर दिस यू नीड टू मेंशन द यूनिट, दैट इज किलोमीटर पर आवर. इफ यू स्किप राइटिंग दिस यूनिट, the examiner deducts the marks, so from here you get 4 marks. Okay, and as you can see this is one of the board's question, this was asked in 2012. Okay, now टॉकिंग अबाउट द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, दैट इज जब हमारा एक एंटिटी, ठीक है, चाहे वो बस हो, चाहे वो ट्रेन हो, चाहे वो कुछ भी हो, कोई भी डिवाइस, कोई भी मशीन हो, वो अगर एक एंटिटी दूसरे एंटिटी से फास्टर है, देन इन दैट केस व्हाट विल वी डू. सो विल गो थ्रू द क्वेश्चन फर्स्ट. ओके, तो द क्वेश्चन सेज हियर दैट द गुड्स ट्रेन, एक गुड्स ट्रेन जो स्टेशन लीव करता है एट 6 PM फॉलोड बाय एन एक्सप्रेस ट्रेन. एक एक्सप्रेस ट्रेन है, वो सेम जगह जाने के लिए लीव करता है 8 PM. तो विल मेक अ सिनेरियो फॉर दिस. ओके, तो ये मेरा फॉर एग्जांपल गुड्स ट्रेन है. ओके, एंड ये मेरा फॉर एग्जांपल एक्सप्रेस ट्रेन है. ठीक है, ओके, तो ये दोनों को एक ही जगह जाकर के मिलना है, बट ये जो है वो 6 PM में लीव करता है एंड ये 8 PM को लीव करता है. ओके, द क्वेश्चन सेज हियर दैट Express train leaves at 8 p.m. and travels 28 किलोमीटर पर आवर फास्टर दैन द गुड्स ट्रेन. ठीक है, ये जो एक्सप्रेस ट्रेन है, ठीक है, ये जो है ये गुड्स ट्रेन के कंपैरिजन में 20 किलोमीटर फास्टर जाता है. तो अगर हम अपना गुड्स ट्रेन का स्पीड को x ले लेते हैं तो इसका स्पीड क्या हो जाएगा, x प्लस 20, क्योंकि ये 20 किलोमीटर फास्टर जा रहा है, 20 किलोमीटर पर आवर फास्टर जा रहा है with respect to your goods train, correct? So in that case what will happen, so the express train arrives at a station. तो express train जो है, क्योंकि वो goods train के रिस्पेक्ट में वो फास्टर है, उस वजह से वो अराइव करेगा एट द स्टेशन एट विच इज 1040 किलोमीटर अवे. तो ये जो डिस्टेंस है, ये सेम डिस्टेंस जो है वो दोनों के लिए इक्वल है. ठीक है, चाहे उसका इसका भले ही स्पीड कम है और इसका भले ही स्पीड ज्यादा है, स्टिल दोनों का डिस्टेंस तो सेम ही रहेगा. ओके, नाउ इट सेज हियर 36 मिनट्स बिफोर द गुड्स ट्रेन. सो एक्सप्रेस ट्रेन जो है वो स्टेशन पहुंच जाता है. दिस इज बेसिकली माई स्टेशन. ठीक है, और स्टेशन कितने दूर पे है, 1040 किलोमीटर. बट जो स्पीड मेरा एक्सप्रेस ट्रेन का है, उसके वजह से वो मेरा गुड्स ट्रेन के रिस्पेक्ट में 36 मिनट्स पहले पहुंच जा रहा है. ओके, तो हम लोग अज्यूम करेंगे दैट द स्पीड्स ऑफ बोथ द ट्रेन्स रिमेन्स कांस्टेंट बिटवीन द टू स्टेशंस. मतलब इन दोनों का जो स्पीड है वो कांस्टेंट है. ठीक है, वो बढ़ नहीं रहा है, हर एक घंटे पे वो सेम है. ओके, सो इन दैट केस वी नीड टू कैलकुलेट द स्पीड्स. ओके, so now as usual, first of all we'll calculate the time taken. Okay, so the time taken by your goods train. Okay, so this becomes equal to what, so again your distance remains constant for all, so you have 1040 by x. Okay, x is basically the speed of your goods train. Okay, now the time taken by express train, so that becomes equal to what, so you have again the same distance, but now the question says here that it takes your speed 20 more than your goods train, that is x plus 20. ओके, ना अब ये बोल रहा है कि जो मेरा एक्सप्रेस ट्रेन है वो मेरा स्टेशन जो है वो 36 मिनट्स बिफोर पहुंच गया गुड्स ट्रेन में के रिस्पेक्ट में. तो वो 36 मिनट्स बिफोर पहुंच गया, मतलब इन दोनों का अगर हम सब्ट्रैक्शन लिए होंगे, फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर ये मेरा 50 मिनट्स में पहुंचता है, ओके, एंड अगर ये सेम चीज मेरा 14 मिनट्स में पहुंचता है, ओके, फॉर एग्जाम्पल विल टेक दिस एज एन एग्जाम्पल, अगर ये मेरे 50 मिनट्स में पहुंचता है और ये मेरे 14 मिनट्स में पहुंचता है, तो ये दोनों में से ये जो है ये 36 मिनट्स फास्टर है इसके रिस्पेक्ट में, करेक्ट? सो इन दैट केस व्हाट विल हैपन, सो वी विल सब्ट्रैक्ट द टाइम टेकन बाय बोथ द ट्रेन्स, दैट इज 1040 x minus 1040 by x plus 20, which becomes ultimately equal to 36 minutes. Now you need to check the units of all the given quantity, that is you have 20 kilometer per hour. The standard unit of your time is basically hours itself. Okay, so we'll take it as 36 by 60. Okay, so now again we'll take the LCM, that is x into x plus 20. Okay, and then you have 1040. So here you have 1040 minus, okay, sorry, this becomes x plus 20 and then minus 1040. X is equal to, so you'll cancel this out, so 6 times and then 10 times, 3 times and then 5 times, so you get 3 by 5. Okay, fine. Now अब हम क्या करेंगे, क्रॉस मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे एज यूजुअल. सो ये फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल हम ब्रैकेट्स खोलेंगे. ओके, सो यू गेट अ 0 एंड देन अगेन 0, सो 802 minus 1040x by x square plus 20x is equal to 3 by 5. So अब ये दोनों कैंसिल हो रहा है, तो हम इन दोनों को कैंसिल कर देंगे. So you get it as 20800 is equal to 3 into x square plus 20x. Okay, and इधर हम 5 मल्टीप्लाई कर देंगे. ओके, क्रॉस मल्टीप्लाई किया हमने. ओके, नाउ सेम थिंग, अब हम क्या करेंगे, ये 3 को हम यहाँ नीचे ले आते हैं. ओके, so we'll remove this 3. Okay, fine. So I'll take this into the other step. Okay, so I have taken here 3. अब हम लिख सकते हैं x square plus 20x is equal to 5 into 20800 by 3. Okay, so there's one mistake which we did here is basically the question says here that the जो goods train है वो 6 PM में लीव कर रहा है स्टेशन, एंड जो एक्सप्रेस ट्रेन है वो 8 PM में लीव कर रहा है. ओके, सो अब दोनों का जो टाइम इंटरवल है वो कितने का गैप है दोनों में, 2 hours का. ओके, तो इतना तो वो ले रहा है. एट द सेम टाइम जो एक्सप्रेस ट्रेन है वो 36 मिनट्स पहले पहुंच जा रहा है, विच मीन्स जो ये मेरा टाइम टेकन है उसमें हम 2 भी ऐड करेंगे, कितने घंटे तो लग रहे हैं. एट द सेम टाइम 36 मिनट्स मोर लग रहा है, ठीक है, बाय एक्सप्रेस ट्रेन. ओके, विद रिस्पेक्ट टू जीटी. तो जो GT है वो अभी भी उतने ही लेट में. Okay, so now you need to add this 2 also. Okay, so this becomes 13 by. Okay, clear? So now we'll cancel this 30 with this number. So you get it as, after cancelling, you get this as 30. 1's a 30. Okay, and then 78. So 78, which means 6x. Okay, so now, so this is basically there. Okay, now you get it as x square plus 20x is equal to 8,000. Okay, so now x square plus 20x minus 8,000 is equal to 0. So you get it as x square plus 100x minus 80x minus 8,000 is equal to 0. अब अगेन हम लोग प्रूव करेंगे x plus 100 and then minus 80 x plus 100 which is equal to 0. Grouping them, 80 minus x minus 80 and x plus 100 is equal to 0. Or we can write here x is equal to 80 and then minus 100 as usual. ये negative हो नहीं सकता, so we'll get x is equal to 80. Okay, so the speed of the good train is 80 kilometer per hour and the speed of the other train, that is you can say, so जो speed है मेरा, ठीक है, speed जो है मेरा गुड्स ट्रेन का वो क्या है, x है, so x is nothing but 80. और speed जो है मेरा एक्सप्रेस ट्रेन का, that is equal to x plus 20 which is nothing but equal to 80 plus 20 ultimately equal to 100 kilometer per hour. It's very important to mention the units as well. Okay, so this becomes a final answer. Okay, now moving on to the next problem that the question says here, problems on CP and SP. So first of all we'll go through the basic formula, that is my loss becomes equal to cost price minus selling price and my profit becomes equal to selling price minus cost price. Okay, so now the question states that you have been given by selling a chair for ₹75. ठीक है, हमने एक चेयर बेचा है at ₹75. तो मोहन gained as much percent as its cost. Calculate the cost of the chair. Okay, तो इसे सॉल्व कैसे करना है, तो सबसे पहले हमें कॉस्ट ही निकालना है. सो जो निकालना है विल अज्यूम इट टू बी एज एक्स. ओके, ना सो एसपी तो सेल किया है ना चेयर को, तो एसपी मीन्स सेलिंग प्राइस. सो सेलिंग प्राइस ऑफ द चेयर इज नथिंग बट ₹75. ओके, ना सो प्रॉफिट फ्रॉम द फॉर्मूला बिकम्स इक्वल, तो हमें इन दोनों से इससे रिलेटेड भी नो ओनली वन फॉर्मूला दैट्स प्रॉफिट. तो हमें प्रॉफिट हो रहा है, ठीक है, बिकॉज द क्वेश्चन सेज गेन हुआ है. ठीक है, तो एसपी माइनस सीपी which is equal to 75 minus x. Okay, now अब हमें क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा है कॉस्ट निकालना है. ठीक है, तो गेन एज मच परसेंट, परसेंट मीन्स वी नीड टू कैलकुलेट योर प्रॉफिट परसेंट. ओके, प्रॉफिट परसेंट इज नथिंग बट प्रॉफिट डिवाइडेड बाय सीपी इनटू 100. ओके, सो प्रॉफिट हमने निकाला है 75 माइनस एक्स बाय सीपी हमें दिया हुआ है x इंटू 100 इज इक्वल टू, तो हमें प्रॉफिट तो ऑलरेडी we have assumed it to be as x, correct? Okay, so now we'll cross multiply it again. Okay, so we get it as x square is equal to 75 minus x into 100. Okay, so x square minus 100x, that's plus 100x minus 7500 is equal to 0. Okay, now again we'll split this, so x square plus, so can we write this as 150x minus 50x minus 7500 is equal to 0. So x plus 150 and then minus 50 x plus 150 is equal to 0. So x minus 50 and x plus 100 is equal to 0. So x becomes equal to 50 and x becomes equal to minus 100. So again at the same time हमारा x जो है वो नेगेटिव नहीं हो सकता. सो इन दैट केस विल रिजेक्ट द सॉल्यूशन और इसको हम एक्सेप्ट कर देंगे. तो हमारा आंसर हो जाएगा x इज इक्वल टू 50. तो जो कॉस्ट प्राइस है वो हमारा 50 है एंड सेलिंग प्राइस कितना हो गया 75. सो ना अब अगर इन दोनों को माइनस करेंगे तो हमारा प्रॉफिट कितने का हुआ, सो प्रॉफिट जो हुआ है वो हम लोग का 15 रुपीज का हुआ है. ओके, क्लियर टिल हियर. ना मूविंग ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट टॉपिक दैट इज मिसलेनियस प्रॉब्लम. सो मिसलेनियस प्रॉब्लम में एक चीज बहुत कॉमन है, ये क्वेश्चन, दो क्वेश्चन बहुत कॉमन क्वेश्चन पूछे जाते हैं. टाइप 1 क्वेश्चन इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन. ओके, सो दिस इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन and at the same time type 2 also, age 1. Okay, so these two questions are a very important question for your board exams. Okay, so type 1 question में क्वेश्चन हमें बोल रहा है इंटरचेंजिंग द डिजिट्स प्लेस. ओके, जब हम डिजिट्स प्लेस को इंटरचेंज कर देते हैं, ओके, So let's go through the question. So the question says a 2-digit number. Okay, so a 2-digit number is such that the product of its digit is basically 6. तो कोई 2-digit number है. Okay, so अब वो 2-digit number क्या है? तो ऑलवेज रिमेंबर, जब भी क्वेश्चन हमें ये बोलेगा कि हमारे पास 2-digit number है, so 2-digit number is nothing but equal to 10x plus y. Okay, क्लियर. एंड द प्रोडक्ट ऑफ द डिजिट्स, तो जो डिजिट्स हमने लिया है वो है 10 और y, क्योंकि यहाँ 2-digit नंबर बोल रहा है. एंड आई टेल यू वन थिंग. ओके, सो बिफोर दैट विल रीड द क्वेश्चन. ओके, सो नाउ इफ 9 इज एडेड टू दिस पर्टिकुलर नंबर, द डिजिट विल इंटरचेंज देयर प्लेसेस. सो इससे हमें पता चलता है क्या कि हमारे जो प्लेसेस है, हमारा जो वैल्यू होगा, जो 2-digit है, वो होगा 10x plus y. Okay, clear? So the question says here 2-digit number is 10x plus y. Okay, and the product which we have taken is xy is equal to 6. x into y is equal to 6. Okay, अब क्वेश्चन ये बोल रहा है कि अगर 9 is added to this number, which number? This number. Okay, तो अगर हम इस नंबर में 9 ऐड कर देते हैं, तो इन दैट केस हमें क्या मिलेगा? द डिजिट्स एक्स इंटरचेंज देयर प्लेसेस. इंटरचेंज देयर प्लेसेस मतलब वो अपने प्लेस को छोड़ के दूसरे प्लेस में चले जाएंगे, विच मीन्स डिजिट जो है, ये डिजिट्स है, एक्स और वाई जो डिजिट है ये यहाँ आ जाएगा, और ये जो एक्स है वो वाई के पोजीशन में चला जाएगा. सो यू कैन राइट इट एज 10y plus x. Okay, so now it becomes equal to what? 9y is equal to 9x plus 9. Okay, correct. Now can we write it as y is equal to x plus 1? अब 9 कॉमन ले लिया तो 9 और 9 सब जगह कैंसिल हो जाएगा. ओके, सो y becomes equal to x plus 1. अब हमें एक और रिलेशन दिया, इसके बारे में हमें सोचना पड़ेगा. तो हमें y का वैल्यू मिल गया इन टर्म्स ऑफ x. कैन बी सब्स्टिट्यूट इनटू दिस इक्वेशन. So we can write it as x into y is equal to 6. So you get it as x into x plus 1 is equal to 6. You get it as x squared plus x minus 6 is equal to 0. So you can write it as x squared plus 3x minus 2x minus 6 is equal to 0. So x plus 3 minus 2 x plus 3 equal to 0. इसे सॉल्व करेंगे फर्दर. x minus 2 and x plus 3 is equal to 0. तो x का वैल्यू आएगा 2 और minus 3. ओके, ना अब इन दोनों में से हमें किसे एक्सेप्ट करना और किसे रिजेक्ट करना है. तो -3 जो है वो कभी हमारा डिजिट नहीं हो सकता. ओके, तो हम माइनस नेगेटिव साइन को हम ऐसे भी रिजेक्ट कर देंगे. तो नाउ माय x becomes equal to, हमें क्वेश्चन बोल रहा है फाइंड द नंबर, हमें वो एग्जैक्ट नंबर ढूंढना है. तो उस नंबर को ढूंढने के लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा? तो x हमें मिल गया है, y हम निकाल सकते हैं इज इक्वल टू नथिंग बट x plus 1. इस फॉर्मूला के कैन बी राइट दिस. ओके, सो नाउ इट बिकम्स इक्वल टू 2 plus 1 विच इज इक्वल टू 3. क्वेश्चन क्या बोल रहा है? हमें नंबर निकालना है. तो नंबर निकालने के लिए डिजिट बिकम्स इक्वल टू 10x plus y. So you can write it as 10 into 2 plus y कितना है? 3. So it becomes equal to 20 plus 3 which is nothing but 23. So ये क्वेश्चन का आंसर हो गया. Okay, so let's start with your age problems. Okay, so age word problem में हमें क्वेश्चन में ये बोल रहा है कि 5 years ago a woman's age was square of her son's age. ठीक है, तो 5 साल पहले तो हम ले लेते हैं let the age son 5 years ago be as, तो हम लिख देंगे कि वो x है. ठीक है, तो हमारा जो नेक्स्ट है एज ऑफ वुमेन. ठीक है, 5 साल पहले कितना हो जाएगा? 5 साल पहले द क्वेश्चन सेज इट्स द स्क्वायर ऑफ हर सन्स एज, तो x स्क्वायर. ओके, नाउ दिस इज बेसिकली योर 5 साल पहले क्या हुआ था. ठीक है, अब प्रेजेंट एज के बारे में बात करें. ठीक है, तो अगर प्रेजेंट एज के बारे में बात करेंगे, ठीक है, तो इट बिकम्स इक्वल टू ऑफ सन. तो वो 5 साल पहले हुआ था. अब 5 साल बाद अगर कोई इंसान 5 साल पहले 2 इयर्स का था, ठीक है, तो 5 इयर्स बाद वो कितने इयर्स का हो जाएगा? 7 इयर्स. we added 5 to it, correct? So x plus 5. Similarly you can write it as present age of women becomes equal to what? X square plus 5, correct? So this is basically my present age. Okay, now the question says here 10 years hence. hence मतलब बाद में. तो 10 years hence के बाद क्या हुआ? जो सन का एज है वो क्या हो जाएगा? So ultimately प्रेजेंट एज क्या है? अगर मेरा प्रेजेंट एज 30 ईयर्स है तो 10 साल बाद कितना हो जाएगा? 40 ईयर्स, विच मीन्स आई एडेड 30 प्लस 10 विच इज इक्वल टू 40. ओके, सिमिलरली अगर किसी इंसान का एज प्रेजेंटली x प्लस 5 है तो 10 साल बाद इसका क्या हो जाएगा? 10 ऐड कर देंगे तो वी गेट इट एज x प्लस 15. वैसे ही अगर कोई विमेन है उसका एज 40 ईयर्स अभी, ठीक है, एंड 10 ईयर्स बाद वो कितने की हो जाएगी? 50 years. We added 10 to it. Similarly, we'll write it as x square plus 5 plus 10 is equal to x square plus. Okay, ठीक है. Now, according to the statement, हमें एक क्वेश्चन में क्या बोल रहा है? Find the age of the sun 5 years ago and the present age of the women. ठीक है, तो हमें x find करना है. Okay, so now according to the given statement हमें क्या बोल रहा है? 10 years hence के बाद, ठीक है, एज विल बी, तो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट लाइन. सो 10 साल बाद, ठीक है, एज, हर एज, ठीक है, मतलब वुमेन का जो एज है दैट विल बी ट्वाइस दैट ऑफ हर सन्स एज. ठीक है, 10 ईयर्स बाद जो वुमेन का एज है वो हो जाएगा कितना? तो 10 ईयर्स बाद वुमेन का एज है एक्स स्क्वायर प्लस 15, so वो हो जाएगा ट्वाइस द एज ऑफ द सन दैट इज एक्स प्लस 15. Okay, so we can write it as x square plus 15 is equal to 2x plus 30. Okay, so it becomes equal to x square minus 2x minus 15 is equal to 0. Okay, so now we can split it as x square minus 5x plus 3x minus 15 is equal to 0. x common ले लेंगे, x minus 5 plus 3 x minus 5 is equal to 0. x plus 3 and then x minus 5 is equal to 0. तो x क्या हो जाएगा? -3 और ये हो जाएगा 5. ओके, ना अगेन एज कभी नेगेटिव नहीं हो सकता है, तो एज हमेशा पॉजिटिव होगा. ओके, द क्वेश्चन सेज यू एज ऑफ द सन 5 years ago. तो 5 years ago सन का एज कितना था? तो सन का एज था x, so we have calculated x as 5. So the answer will be 5 of the first question. सेकेंड क्वेश्चन क्या बोल रहा है? प्रेजेंट एज ऑफ वुमेन. सो प्रेजेंट एज ऑफ वुमेन क्या है? x square plus 5. So we'll substitute 5 square plus 5 which is equal to 25. So 25 plus 5 becomes equal to 30. So this becomes a final answer. Okay. Now moving on to the last pattern of question, that is the upstream and downstream problem. Okay. So this is basically not consecutively, but you can expect these type of questions in boards. The last three questions which I have discussed, that is basically your interchanging the digits place, age problems and your upstream downstream problem. ठीक है, ये तीन problem it's like a very prominent question asked in your boards exam. Okay, so now please pay attention to this. Okay, so upstream मतलब क्या होगा? जब भी upstream बोलेगा इसका मतलब पानी की जो stream है उसके against जाना है. ठीक है, which means हम minus कर देंगे. Okay, डाउनस्ट्रीम मतलब तो हमें पानी की स्ट्रीम के साथ जाना है, इसका मतलब हम प्लस कर देंगे. सो जस्ट रिमेंबर, अगर कुछ अपस्ट्रीम के बारे में बोल रहा है तो हम माइनस कर देंगे और कोई डाउनस्ट्रीम के बारे में बोल रहा है तो हम प्लस कर देंगे. ओके, सो दिस इज बेसिकली अ ट्रिक टू रिमेंबर इट. ओके, ना अ मोटर बोट, द क्वेश्चन सेज हियर कि एक कोई मोटर बोट है, उसका स्पीड है 18 किलोमीटर पर आवर. ओके, सो उसका स्पीड हमें दिया हुआ है एंड दिस इज देयर इन स्टिल वाटर. इट टेक्स 1 hour मोर to go to 24 kilometer upstream than to return downstream to the same spot. Find the speed of the stream. ठीक है, तो हमें ये बोल रहा है कि स्पॉट जो है वो बिल्कुल सेम है. ठीक है, तो हाउ विल बी सॉल्व दिस क्वेश्चन? तो इस क्वेश्चन को सॉल्व करने के लिए सबसे पहले हमें पता होना चाहिए कि अपस्ट्रीम और डाउनस्ट्रीम का मतलब क्या होता है. सो अपस्ट्रीम इज क्लियर. सो अपस्ट्रीम मतलब पानी के अगेंस्ट जाना. ठीक है, एंड डाउनस्ट्रीम मतलब पानी के साथ जाना. ओके, सो ना तो सबसे पहले चीज हम क्या करेंगे इज बेसिकली स्पीड. हम स्पीड को x मान लेंगे. ठीक है, सो स्पीड बिकम्स x. ओके, क्लियर ना. अगर मेरा स्पीड जो है बोट का, ठीक है, अगर मेरा स्पीड जो है वो बोट का, स्पीड ऑफ बोट अगर अपस्ट्रीम की तरफ निकल रहा है, ओके, अगर वो एक अपस्ट्रीम की तरह निकल रहा है, इसका मतलब क्या है? अपस्ट्रीम. अपस्ट्रीम मतलब ट्रिक क्या बोल रहा है? अगेंस्ट जाना, मतलब माइनस करना. तो हम x माइनस कर देंगे. ठीक है, किससे? 18 से. ओके ओके, सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग टू रिमेंबर, हम x को 18 से माइनस करेंगे कि 18 को x से. तो क्वेश्चन क्या बोल रहा है? मोटर बोट whose speed is 18 किलोमीटर पर आवर takes 1 hour more to go to 25 किलोमीटर upstream than to return downstream to the same spot. ठीक है, तो इसका मतलब अपस्ट्रीम मतलब हम क्या करेंगे? माइनस कर देंगे. तो 18 हमें दिया हुआ है. ठीक है, तो हम उससे x माइनस कर देंगे. वही सेम स्पीड ऑफ बोट अगर हमें डाउनस्ट्रीम बोल रहे हैं तो डाउनस्ट्रीम मतलब क्या, हम ऐड कर देंगे विच मीन्स अगेन x 18 प्लस x, सॉरी नॉट 18 बट द अदर वन, ओके या ओके, सो 18 प्लस, ओके ठीक है। अब अपस्ट्रीम के लिए हम वैल्यू कैसे निकालेंगे, तो T1, ठीक है। अगर मेरा टी अपस्ट्रीम जो है, ठीक है, टाइम टेकन बाय अपस्ट्रीम, वो कितना है, डिस्टेंस तो सेम है, क्वेश्चन हमें क्या बोल रहा है, डिस्टेंस सेम है, सो 24/18 माइनस एक्स। और डाउनस्ट्रीम के लिए कितना हो जाएगा, सो टी डाउन बिकम्स इक्वल टू 24/18 प्लस एक्स, ठीक है। अब क्वेश्चन क्या बोल रहा है कि दोनों जो है, ठीक है, सो इन स्टिल वाटर टेक्स 1 आवर मोर, ठीक है। मोटर बोट जो है अगर वो अपस्ट्रीम जा रहा है, ठीक है, so the motor boat whose speed is 18 kilometer per hour is still water takes 1 hour more to go upstream. वो 1 घंटा ज्यादा लेता है अगर वो अपस्ट्रीम की तरफ जाए तो, ठीक है, which means my t, okay, so t up becomes equal to what, so t up becomes equal to t down प्लस 1, मतलब अपस्ट्रीम वो जो है डाउन स्ट्रीम के रिस्पेक्ट में वो 1 घंटा ज्यादा लेता है अपस्ट्रीम में जाने के लिए, ओके। I will substitute the value, that is 24/18 plus x and then 24/8, okay, sorry, so it's here you have minus, okay, so you have 24/18 minus x and then you have 24/18 plus x and then is equal to, sorry, plus 1, okay। Now solving this further, so इसको हम उस तरफ ले जाएंगे, so you will get it as 18 minus x minus 24/18 plus x is equal to 1. So अब हम LCM लेंगे, LCM लेने के बाद हमें क्या मिलेगा, 18 square minus x, or you can take it in simple manner, okay, if you want to avoid the formulas, so you can write it as 18 minus x and 18 plus x. तो हम यहाँ क्या करेंगे, 24 18 plus x and then minus 24 18 minus x is equal to 1, ठीक है। अब इसे पूरा सॉल्व करने के बाद जो हमारा आंसर है दैट बिकम्स इक्वल टू x इज इक्वल टू -54 एंड x इज इक्वल टू 6। तो इन दोनों में से, क्योंकि क्वेश्चन बोला स्पीड निकालने के लिए, अगेन हम किसे डिस्कार्ड करेंगे, सो विल डिस्कार्ड दिस नेगेटिव वैल्यू, क्यों, क्योंकि स्पीड कभी नेगेटिव नहीं हो सकता, सो x बिकम्स इक्वल टू 6, सो दिस बिकम्स द फाइनल, ओके।